let's talk about pain. Many people that experience pain on a regular basis, maybe over a long period of time, have been told things like your scan is now clear or your bone is now healed. Maybe it's stress, there's nothing wrong, you're going to have to manage it. Maybe they've been told they need painkillers or steroids or cream or something on a permanent basis. And what that actually feels like is that you are going to have to manage this pain on and off in a continued way, and that it's not going to resolve. Feeling escapable, feeling free, feeling like we can overcome or surpass something is definitely one of the things that makes us feel resourced. So what are people actually experiencing? So oftentimes they are experiencing pain that outlived the original injury, sometimes by decades, whether it be whiplash or a false move in the gym or a surgery. Or maybe they had a particularly difficult moment and they've had IBS ever since. Maybe it's not even a physical pain, maybe it's a sensation. Maybe it's a tight chest and you don't know why. Maybe it's something catching in your throat every time you go to speak to a particular person. The stomach drops, something changes, something tightens, or something becomes more difficult in some way in the body. I'm Jenna, and I work with what the body is still holding. So what is actually happening with pain when we experience it over a long period of time in the body, and there's no obvious reason as to why? Well, the mainstream say that the pain signal is happening in your brain, that it's not always about the sensory tissue. So if you've hurt your shoulder and the inflammation is gone and everything is healed and you are still experiencing pain, that pain is a signal that's felt in the brain, a signal that's coming from the brain. That's what mainstream science says. And that it's not actually about the signal, although it feels like it's in the tissue is no longer sending that signal. The International Association for the Study of Pain, which is the field's own governing body, revised its official definition of pain in 2020, and it's been the first change since 1979. Two of the notes that they added say it plainly. Pain and nociception are different phenomena. Further, that pain cannot be inferred from activity in the sensory neurons alone. Another really important part is pain is a very personal experience, shaped by biological, psychological, and social factors altogether. The clearest proof anyone can picture is phantom limb pain. So this is when people feel pain in a limb that is no longer there. There is no tissue to send the signal. The pain is still very, very real. And this comes up a lot when people say, well, are you saying that it's in my head? Well, the connotation that has is that it's not true. So yes, while it might be in your head, the pain that you're feeling is very, very much real. And it runs the other way too. A systematic review of spine imaging in people with no pain at all found disc degeneration rising to 96% of pain-free 80-year-olds. So findings on a scan and pain in your own body are not the same thing. So what is actually going on then? What is the mechanism that's actually going on when your body is producing, your brain is producing the pain, and there's nothing notable to see on a scan? So the brain is producing closer to a prediction of what happened either last time. It's using the state of the tissues that they're actually in, and what we are told, what we've learned at the time, and the things that the body picked up at the time, the sensory data that the body picked up at the time. And usually when we heal, the prediction updates. So the tissue heals, the danger passes, pain settles. And when pain is persistent, something does not update. And the body keeps producing something entirely real in response to something that has already finished. The same happens with an experience. It gets encoded along with the held breath and the thing that could not be said, or the flush of anger or heat in the system, or the things that were experienced, the sensory data that was experienced at the time. The encoding encodes all of that data and can continue to fire that data when similar situations or similar stimuli are present again. Everything I've said so far is mainstream pain science. You can go and look it up. In fact, I recommend that you do. What comes next is what I'm doing with pain and how I'm working in the body. And I'm going to explain why I decided to run a study rather than telling you that this works and filling this page with lots of amazing stories of how I've used my own psychosensory approaches when helping people transform what's in the body, how the pain is held, what's going on. Instead of filling this page with all of the amazing stories and testimonials that I have about working in the body, working with pain, working with stiffness, working with an encoded psychological or emotional moment in the body that keeps firing, I'm running a study instead. So an observational study that is designed to capture and record when it works, when it partially works, and if it doesn't work at all. And this is why I want to measure that and record that rather than ask you to believe me. And this can be why understanding alone doesn't always help, because it speaks to the part that already knows that it's hurt. But then what do we do with that? If we don't want to take painkillers for the rest of our lives, or we don't want to take steroids for the rest of our lives, what I actually do is use my own protocols and my own formula with psychosensory techniques, unhurried imagination, and the person's own sovereignty and the person's own power. While the brain has put the pain there, the brain can also update and resolve that the pain no longer needs to be there. The honest part is I am not a doctor. This is not a medical treatment. This is not a therapy. So keep every appointment, every prescription, every therapist. New or undiagnosed symptoms, see the GP first. And if you are in crisis right now, this is not the page for you. You need to contact your GP or the NHS on 111 or Samaritans on 116 123. So I am offering a 20-minute free discovery call so that we can have a chat about what's going on in the body, what kind of pain or symptom or condition that you have that you think this might be a fit for. And I will tell you honestly if I do not think this is right for you. If it's been going on a long time, or if you feel like the pain you're experiencing from a live injury, so something that is currently hurt, set up a discovery call with me. Let's have a chat about the pain and see what we can do.